the thing that everybody doesn't know is that we are often naked together in the mornings
That's true.
via selfie. Andy and I take our ugly selfies in the morning and send them to each other very often. So this is nothing new to us.
Except for you have makeup on, and
I have makeup
hair's
on.
done, and I have my glasses on. So
there. So
oh wow. Well, Cheri, have I got the genitals for you?
If you've got an itch, Andy Vargo will scratch it. Welcome to Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy. I'm Cheri Hardman. This is my good friend
Andy Vargo.
Yeah, and we're here to discuss a lot of topics with our own special brand of scrutiny. I don't know what topics because I'm not prepared today, so let's just find out.
You know what? I didn't come up with a topic. I know we're going to find out. We don't run out of things to talk about ever, but I was busy putting a little game together we're going to play later.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's my turn. It was my turn to finally come up with something to put you on the spot. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
But Cheri, you've got a busy calendar. What do you have coming up?
Well, tonight I will be at Tacoma Comedy Club hosting for Harlan Williams. Same 2 shows tomorrow night, 2 shows Saturday night.
Wow.
Then Sunday I'm doing Boozy Brunch. I'll be hosting that at Tacoma Comedy Club. And Monday we have our show at Odd Otter.
Yes, that'll be fun.
I'm excited about that. We have a fun, interesting mix of comedians. We have Barunji, we have Richie FJ, and we have one of my favorite comedians up from Portland, The Real Hijinks.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Richie perform in a while or Hijinks, but I saw Barunji a month or so ago, and it was it's hilarious to see people that you've seen, but then you haven't seen them for a while. And I think a month ago was kind of the first time I saw him since COVID. And it's just, it's neat to see people where they're at and be like, oh my gosh, he's got some new stuff I haven't seen, and his other stuff's even more.
Yeah, I saw Richie at, where was it that I was thinking about that I saw him? And I was like, oh man, he was really freaking funny. I was like, I got to get him on our show. Yeah, well, everywhere I see him, he's really freaking funny, but I'm just trying to.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. At least
he's an old man. He's been around a long time. So yeah, so that's exciting. And then is it next week we're doing Halloween, or is it the week after?
The week after. The week after. And I might be
on. Are you sure it is?
Yeah, it's the 28th or whatever, 29th.
Okay.
I might be on the road next week. I'll have to let you know if we have to delay or something, or do a weird timing, because I am taking a little weekend getaway.
Well, good for you.
With my other bestie.
Oh, your real life bestie?
Well, sometimes I refer to her as my last sane ex. Yes, Laura and I are going to do a little getaway. We've talked about doing the little retreat kind of getaway thing for 3 years now. And, it's always summer gets away. It's like, oh, we were going to go camping. We were going to go to the beach. We were going to do this. And she had something canceled. And I was like, you know what? Let's just make it happen. And so I'm going to go hang out at
she's an outdoorsy kind of gal. Are you going to be doing like outdoorsy kind of?
We're going to go to the ocean and do outdoorsy stuff at the ocean. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
So
all right, so we'll find out later, like when you're leaving. So cool. And what do you have coming up?
I've the comedy shows that I have coming up aren't until November. I have some things. I just booked a workshop that I'm doing, a private gig about change, and so that's just really exciting. It's not until January, but it's recently booked. And so I'm
Right.
just really excited about that. And unfortunately, I've gotten so busy with the private stuff, which is cool. It's what I want to do, but I can't go, oh, hey, come to this thing.
Right.
So, but I am going to be doing in November, our next, at our first Toastmaster meeting in November, I'm going to do a, I'm going to do a mini version of one of the workshops that I'm going to be giving. So that's going to be kind of fun. And people are always welcome to come to those as guests. So that's going to be fun because I'm, well, I don't really need to practice the workshop itself. I have a couple elements that I'm putting into practice that I want to try. And I'm actually developing a whole new packet, because one thing I haven't done very well with my own marketing was they say every time you're in front of an audience, you need to have them have something that they leave with your name. So I'm making sure I have those elements together. And I'm also working on an evaluation for the audience to give me, where they also have the opportunity to give me their email address so that I can, you know, add people to my thing. So,
oh, cool.
so I'm excited to kind of use this as an opportunity to develop some of that stuff. So it's exciting. I've got, things are growing, things are going the right direction. It feels good. It's a lot of work, and I can't wait to have some things where I can say, hey, come see me here. I've got a couple shows in November I'll be excited to talk about.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to give a little bit of heads up about stuff that we're doing at Odd Otter.
Yeah, there's gonna be some fun things coming up.
Yeah, so in November, is it November? We're bringing back Unmentionables.
Yes, November 22nd.
Now we're not doing the game show version. We're just doing I don't want to call it dirty, but you know, we're going to bring back dirty jokes. We're going to do a little
comedy,
risque comedy for adults. So we'll be doing that in November. I'm excited about that. Eventually we will bring the game show back, but
yeah,
I wanted to bring Unmentionables back. And then I figured we'd have an Unmentionables version and then just a game show Unmentionables version.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's a great idea. And just to remind everybody, October, November are a little bit odd at Odd Otter with comedy because it's normally the last Monday of the month, but there's a Seahawks game the last Monday of the month, and so that's a little hard to compete with. So this way you can get your comedy one week and your Hawks the next week. So it's the second to the last Monday of the next 2.
And we'll share those dates when we get closer. And then in December we have Nate Jackson.
Woo, that's exciting.
I'm very excited about that. Yeah,
that's gonna be fun. So a lot of cool stuff. That's a fun room. It's cool to see it grow. So.
Yeah. All right.
So what do you want to talk about, Cheri? Do you want to throw a topic out? I can throw something out if you.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
Well, we want to hear about your trip to Vegas. That's for sure.
I took a trip to Vegas. I wanted to go see Beatles Love because every other time that I've gone, it's been dark, and they finally have it going again. And so I met up with Michael Timont and brought him with me to see it, and he'd never seen it, so that was exciting. And it was good seeing him. We went and hung out and had dinner and went and saw the show.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, so that was fun. I was happy to see that it was back, and it filled my heart with joy. And yeah, and then I went to
I like how monotone you said that. It filled my heart with joy.
filled my heart with joy. No, but then I went to a show called The Dirty at 12:30.
Okay, I was wondering about that. I saw you said you were going to Dirty, and I didn't know, was that a dirty comedy show?
It's called The Dirty at 12:30. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's in a casino, not on the Strip. And there was a little fiasco there. It was nice because I saw, some comedy peeps that I knew. Got to say hi to them, and I got to watch Spiro do a set. But one of the comedians had some trouble that night. Let's just say, had a little too much to drink and really had a major meltdown on stage.
Oh, wow!
And it was really interesting. Because there was it was kind of like a car wreck where there was that fascination, you want to watch, you want to slow down and watch, but it was horrible to look at,
Yeah, right. Yeah, it leaves you not feeling good, but you also want to know the end of the story.
But especially as a comedian, it's okay, how is he gonna pull himself out of this? It was really how is he going to pull himself out of this? Or are they going to let him continue? Or are they going to come take him off stage? You know, so that was really
Yeah.
interesting. And then there was a certain point, and I think I told you this, that I thought, ooh, should I get this on camera?
Right. Yeah.
And then I just thought, no, you know, I know everybody does that now, is they
Mhm.
want to get everything on camera and be the first one to put it up. And I just thought, that's a human being who's losing their dignity right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want someone else to do that if it was reversed, if that was me up there, you
Yeah.
know.
I think I remember, I think the way you said it to me was something about, you know, this person's like at their lowest point or a very low point, and I wouldn't want that
Yeah.
on camera for if it was
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah.
that was a very thoughtful,
Yeah.
kind way to approach it. So
But so I kind of got stranded out there for a little while. There was no taxis available, so I just had to gamble instead. Oh well. And I saw
Wow.
him. Yeah,
Oh.
I saw him a few hours later. Looks like they had gone and like went and got something to eat. And he was surrounded by a bunch of people that were trying to nurture him through it. So
Oh, good. Well,
you know,
that's
that
good.
was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you worry when someone has a situation like that, if they just go on into the night by themselves and don't have somebody kind of hanging out with them, that's
Right.
scary.
What's going to happen? Yeah. And then the following night, I went out and did a little karaoke and
Are you
drank
still
way too many cocktails.
Are you still hungover?
Oh, I'm good now.
I'm
But
sorry. I was hearing from Cheri the day after, and it was just it sounded painful.
oh, and I still like this is going to eventually become because I don't drink like that anymore. Like I'm too old to drink like that for one thing, and like I barely even remember half the eating. I remember falling asleep outside a dive bar in a like sketchy part of town
Oh, just not
with
good.
$3,000 in my purse, and I'm just sleeping on my scooter. I remember a guy asking me, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just waiting for my cab." But then I know he took me back. I remember going back to the casino, but I don't remember anything after I was. And then I got up the next morning and I had a ticket, from a slot machine. So apparently I played some slots on my way upstairs and then decided, so yeah. And I also, as you know, started a group chat.
Which was awesome because I got the pleasure of saying that you did. And you're like, no, I didn't. It's like, yes, you did. Saying a screenshot of the chat that you started.
But what I don't understand, like, first of all, I made a group chat with you, Ken Hamlet, and Rachel Apjay. Now, you and Ken, I can understand because I talk to you guys I talk to you daily.
Right.
I talk to Ken weekly.
Right.
And I see Rachel at shows when I see Rachel at shows. We never chat. I mean, not that I don't like Rachel.
I know what you mean. She's just not in your daily chat circle. I get it.
Right. And so all of a sudden, it's like, the three of you on a group chat, but that's kind of a technical skill, not only to start a group chat, but to name it as well.
Yes, and also please tell everybody what you named it.
I'm so sorry, drunk JG, whatever that. Yeah. So.
And when I first thought, I actually had kind of the same thought that Rachel had said, which was that she thought, oh, what show is this group chat for? And I opened it and I thought, well, Rachel was on the last show, so she wouldn't have started a new one for the next show. And and then I thought, and Ken's not coming to town. Like, what am I missing here? It's just funny. And so
what did I do? Just start it and then not say anything?
I think you started it and then you put a thumbs up or something, like just like one little thing. And I didn't see it till I woke up in the morning. I was like, huh.
I know. So now people are probably like, oh, Cheri Hardman's an alcoholic. But I mean, really, like, I think the last time I got drunk like this was that time we were on that camp out up at Tommy's cabin.
Oh, yeah.
What, 2 years ago or 3? I don't know.
Yeah, that was like 3 years ago at least.
Yeah. So, once every 3 years, I guess.
Which was this time of year. It might have even been 4 years. Gee, I think it was at least probably 3 years ago.
Yeah. So I don't know. So that was okay. But yeah, I'm glad to be home, not drinking now. So yeah.
I'm glad you were able to wake up and get to food first of all, and then get to the airport.
Yeah. So everything worked out, but yeah,
That's good.
not gonna repeat that anytime soon.
Well, would you like to play a game?
Okay.
I have a game, and this is based on, and I did clear this with Cheri earlier to make sure that that this was okay, because this is based on Cheri's comedy, because you do the thing called sexual mind reading,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it would be fun. You do that with audiences. I thought it would be fun to do it here, kind of the way you put me on spot with Who's Who, and I'm like, well, I'm going to give you your chance to do sexual mind reading for the show. So prepare yourselves. Whoops. Let me go back to Zoom. I forgot I needed to do share screen.
Oh, we have comments. I'm
I
gonna
thought it would
look
be
at
fun
it.
to do it
Oops.
here
Oh, is that me or that's you?
too.
Oh, wait, now Kirk has said something.
Let's see what Kirk says before we do the show. Every time I show up early for Cheri, but stick around late for Andy's sweet mustache. Wow, thanks, Kirk. That is awesome. Are the private shows on your Andy fans? That's a good idea. I might have to start something.
Kirk, are you, is Kirk flirting
Cheri,
with you?
I am maybe I am disabled from sharing my screen. Can you let me share?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. There we go.
Anyway, I got to hang out with Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk's
I'm
your pictures looked a lot of fun.
I'm sure he regrets it. I don't know. He got out pretty early. He was like,
Okay.
Look at her.
Can you see?
I see my boobies.
All right, let's see here. Should be I tested this. Why is it not moving? Oh, there we go. Boom, 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 boom.
Ooh, nice
There we go.
graphic there. Look at you.
Thought you'd enjoy that. Let's see if it'll go to the next. Okay, here's your first contestant for sexual mind reading.
What is he like in bed?
Yes.
He's an athlete, first of all.
Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know much about him, but I do know who that is. Okay, here's the deal. Like when you have sex with an athlete, especially like, so I picture him like using the bedroom as a workout room. Like, you know, all like sex incorporates push-ups and stuff like that, you know, flexing and all that kind of stuff. So he's always got to be on top so he can do the push-ups, and likes to do it in front of a mirror too, for sure. So he can gaze at his muscles. But I'm sure he's fine in bed because he's cute enough that, you know, I don't really care whether he's good in bed or not. So there you go.
All right, ready for your next contestant?
Okay.
All right.
Oh, that's Suzanne Summers.
Uh-huh. I did some flashbacks.
Wow. Oh, Suzanne Summers. Oh, well, first of all, we know she's got that thigh grip from the Thigh Master. So I bet she's got like a steel vagina, you know, like once you're in, she decides whether you're coming back out or not.
Oh my God.
That's it. But yeah, no,
All right.
she's fun in bed.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's Adam Driver.
I threw that in there just for you.
I've never seen his nipples before that I can remember. Well, Adam Driver is not, you know, he's got the face that only a mother could love, or women who've seen him do movies and play sensitive characters. That's why we like him. So lucky for him, those kind of faces are usually very good in bed because they've had to make up all their lives for what their nose looks like. So,
Oh my God.
No, I'm getting aroused. No, Adam Driver, I know that he's got to be really good in bed. And just imagine like sitting on that face, there's a lot to ride. There is a lot.
Oh my God. All right.
I'm giving Andy the vapors.
All right. He's not my heartthrob the way he's your heartthrob.
Yeah, well,
But that's funny.
that's fine.
All right. But I did find a nice picture for you to enjoy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Send that to me. Taylor Swift. Oh. Well, for sure, she gives really weak hand jobs, for sure. And really weak blow jobs too. And I like Taylor Swift, don't get me wrong. But a girl that looks like that and has looked like that all her life has not had to try very hard. So she's probably a pillow princess. And when she does try, it's very, she doesn't have a good grip.
What's a pillow princess?
Someone that just lays there.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
A pillow princess. Okay. Couple more here.
Yeah. Who cares? I just want to find out. I got that line there, but no, that Justin Bieber. He's probably quick, he's probably kind of quick, but yeah. He's probably disappointed. I'm sure he's disappointed a lot of women. Yeah. Disappointing. Disappointing.
Okay.
I know.
Not very exciting there, huh? All right.
But he is cute, so don't you think?
Yeah, he's cute. Depends on which picture you look at, though. I've seen when I was looking for pictures, I was like, is that the same person?
Oh God.
I tried to get a good variety of people for you.
Well, has Susan Boyle ever had sex? I mean, come on, do we even know?
I don't know. How would I know?
So let's imagine that she has. Yeah, no, oh. Well, she insists on keeping her flannel nightgown on while she's doing it, right?
All right.
And then she says, like, oh, thank you, sir, for the sex. And then she puts a towel down first on the bed so there's no mess. And then afterwards, she makes you like tea and little sandwiches cut up into quarters.
I think she could be a surprise screamer like her music performance.
No, there's no way.
All right.
Poor thing. I hope
might-
somebody bangs her. Maybe she doesn't like that. I don't know.
I hope she's happy. Okay.
I'm sure she's fine. Oh my God, Richard Simmons. I love Richard Simmons. He would talk incessantly through the whole thing, for sure.
Oh my God. He's like, shut up already.
He likes to do it and just keep those striped shorts on the whole time. Just push him over to the side. Oh no, he's very enthusiastic. He's bouncing around and he just won't shut up. He just will not shut up. And he's like, we're sweating.
Oh my God. I'm sure he's very encouraging too. I think that might be the last one. Oh no, there's another one.
Oh, Lizzo. Oh, that girl's got it. She's beautiful. She has a beautiful body. And I'm sure she's kind of dominant. I'm sure she's a little dominant. She wants to make sure that they know who's the queen, who's the boss. She's the boss in the bedroom. She's a boss bitch, babe. No, yeah, she's cool. She likes to be on top. She likes to tell them what to do. She's a queen.
All right.
That wasn't very funny, but that's my take.
I think that ends my my list of
Speaking
people.
of pillow princesses, there we go.
So.
Well, good job, Andy.
Well, thank you. That was fun. Good job to you. That would put you on the spot.
Oh, my stomach is growling. Hello to everybody that's watching.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's one of the fun things. It's funny to watch you do that with strangers because the fun thing that when you do that on stage is that you watch it go around the room and you pick on people, or it's not even picking on them, but you're calling, they're calling out, and a lot of them are volunteering or whatever. But then you hear their friends laugh, like just like you just pegged them with what their personality is, and it's like you just know it's like, oh,
I know it's gotten where it's almost like I'm just roasting people, and I really did not intend for it to start out that way, but I don't know. People have a lot of fun with it, so.
Yeah, I actually, this was actually fun to come up with the list of people, because I started writing our list and I had a couple people on there that I didn't put on because I didn't want to do all musicians or all one thing or the other.
Right.
And so then I mixed it up and added other people, but then I kept those people on a list for later.
Right.
And then afterwards I was like, oh, I should add so and so and so and so. So I've got a fun list I can't wait for you to share about. But some of it is just research for me. Some of the guys I'm like, okay, what is she gonna say about this one? Do I keep them on my on my wish list or not?
Oh.
So that's fun.
Okay. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
All right. What were we going to talk about? Oh, we talked about possibly talking about Dave Chappelle's special, but I don't really feel like it. Do you?
No, it's that there were so many I watched it, and I don't watch things. I won't go into a lot about it because I don't really want to get into all the stuff about it. I don't watch things that are trending usually on purpose because I don't really care what is going on. That's like, oh, you have to watch this because it's what everybody's doing. But I watched it just because a couple things were asked specifically about it, and I was like, well, I'll watch it just so I can, have conversations if I need to. But yeah, there were just a lot of different things, and I had different opinions on it in different ways, and but some good, some bad, some mixed. So I think that would be hours to unfold. But one thing that I was really dealing with this last week that I considered kind of talking about was how you how you really gauge how you're feeling about things. Because early on in the week and last week, I was really kind of in a lull in some progress that I was working on with business. And what was tricky for me, and it's frustrating because it's what I coach my clients through, yet when I go to apply it to my own life, it's always this is what you're helping people with. Why can't you apply it here in your own life? That's why I'm a coach and not a player. So so one of the things that I had to really step back and notice is over the last year, especially, my business has gone from here to here, and then it's here, but in my mind, because it's not actively doing something to get to here right away, I feel like it's gone back down to here instead of really acknowledging, well, it's still here. And I feel like we can run into that a lot of times, even with comedy, where you have a weekend without a show, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, am I not popular anymore? And yet you could have every other weekend of the month booked when that wouldn't have been the case 2 years ago.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we feel like we're an open micer again or something,
Mm-hmm.
And you had given me some advice too of like, how do you kind of plan ahead to have some coping things in place so that when that does happen, when you start to feel that way, that you can bring your mentality back around to the right space. Because that was the thing that was really most disturbing to me, wasn't the metrics I was looking at, but why I couldn't shake the feeling of the lack of success.
Right.
In reality, there wasn't a lack of success. I just wasn't feeling the way I wanted to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
Did you come up with something for that?
Yeah, one of the things that I came up with was to write down my current successes and my current opportunities, because as I list them out, it makes me aware of just what's on the table right now. And those things weren't on the table a year ago or 2 years ago. And so by sitting down and writing them out, it does two things for me. One is it's a lot like writing a gratitude journal or writing a list of things you're grateful for, in that you start to focus on what you have instead of what's missing. But the other thing it does is it focuses my activities and my mind on the actions I need to take. And there's actually, I heard this somewhere in a book, which I forgot about. It was either a book or a TED Talk or something, but they were talking about the, when we feel successful, the feeling of success comes in the pursuit of success. As soon as we achieve the success, we stop having the feelings that come with feeling like a successful person. So as soon as we stop doing the activities that make us successful, we actually start to feel like we're not. And so that's a lot to do with it ties into why people feel imposter syndrome, or they don't feel good once they accomplish something. It's because they've stopped being in pursuit of what they're working on, and that's where the actual good feelings come in. And that's why you see people who, no matter how big their empire gets, no matter how much they're doing, you know, now they wrote a whole bunch of songs, but now they're going to go play baseball, and then they're going to go paint a Picasso type of painting, and then they're going to write a book. And it's because they always have to be pursuing something, because that's where that feeling comes from. It's not so much out of greed. And so by creating that list, I'm creating that gratuity list, but then I'm also triggering myself to figure out what I should be taking action on. And then that action is what creates that feeling of success. And that feeling of success is what kind of makes you feel successful and realize that you have it again. So
that's interesting. That's interesting. You know, one thing that I told myself to do, and I just discovered it actually like yesterday. I had forgotten about it, but someone said, make a voice recording talking about all your successes.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. So I happened upon that. It was in my voice recordings, and I was, you know, trying to record a set, and I was like, well, I'm going to listen to that. And I started that thing like I talked about in the recording, about how I started out as a welfare mom, and I went back to school, and I got my degree, and then I started working, and I was with a man who told me I'd never be anything. And then I just went through everything up to this point that I'd accomplished. And I felt a lot better after I listened. It's like, yeah, I'm a badass.
No, that is awesome. One of the things that my mentor had challenged me to do, and I still need to go back and do this, was to write out 100 things that you've done that are successful, 100 successes you've had. And he pointed out, did you learn how to walk? Did you learn how to ride a bike? Did you learn how to speak English? Like whatever, like a success doesn't have to be a monumental thing like we always think it has to be. Like, what are things that you were able to accomplish in your life? And if you go back and look at all the things you've done, learning how to use a cell phone, those weren't around when I was a kid. That was a new thing. Learning how to use a computer. There's hundreds of things that we've all succeeded at, and we don't give ourselves credit for them because they're just what we see as regular everyday things. But I love that you went back to the beginning, because I know bits and pieces of your journey, but not all of the details. And we don't know what's behind how people got to where they are. And especially when we see people on stage or things, we know the piece they choose to share, and a lot of times that's a flash of where they're at in their life now. But as comedians, we're not always going back 20 years and talking about, oh, in my childhood or in my first marriage or in whatever, this is what I had to deal with.
Well, and even I know very few people, that I'm dealing with some really heavy stuff right now. And I thought, if people were to see me on stage right now, they would not imagine that at all. And then I think, well, that's probably true for a lot of people. We don't know what people are dealing with. This is like off the topic that we're on, really. But I mean, just being able to sometimes to get through a day is a success. Right. Or to get through a set, or to get through a job, or to get, just succeeding without falling apart some days is a success.
Yeah, and that's actually the section I was just writing, because I'm working on this new book about relationship changes. And the section I was writing was about kind of getting through. And what I was talking about is giving things time, because when I was in the worst part of my divorce, I remember I would feel like shit all day long, all the time. And, you know, you'd like do something and you'd like be choking back tears here and there. And I remember getting to a point where it was like, oh, I made it through like most of a day. And then the next day was like, oh, I made it through a whole day. And I realized that what I needed to do was track the space between breakdowns, or the space between just that crappy feeling, because that's where the success and the growth was. It's like, oh, instead of it being 2 hours without breaking down, it was 4 hours. And maybe next time I can go 4.5, or, you know, and there were some setbacks where you're like, oh crap, now I'm doing it again every 2 hours. But, you know, I might have a 2-day meltdown but then I might be okay again for 4 weeks. And then it's like, oh, now I have another day or 2 meltdown. But that growth is where it's like, oh, wow, I haven't felt crappy for a week. I didn't even notice it. But what I used to do is I thought, oh, you know, I broke down again. Now I'm back to square one. I'm starting over. It's like, well, I'm not starting over, because I'm not starting over at having that feeling 24/7. I'm just having a bad moment because somebody looked at me wrong in the grocery store or whatever, you know? And I think, but like you said, sometimes it is just, can I make it for an hour? Can I get through until lunch break, and I can go cry in the bathroom and eat a Hershey bar or whatever it is that I'm going to do, you know, and then go fake it until the end of the day or whatever. But whatever you got to do to just kind of keep getting to the next step.
That's
but you're right. We do just never know.
That's right. Well, it sounds like you're doing some you know, good work just with everything, you know. But the feeling of success, it kind of reminds me like of how they say that comedians, like famous comedians, like if you watch any show where they're all sitting around bullshit, they all say that like, oh, their open mic days were like the best days of all.
Yeah.
Because I guess, I don't know, they had all that hope in front of them, or that excitement of pursuing their success. And didn't learn how to like appreciate it maybe once they got it.
Yeah, and I think there's probably a different level of camaraderie when you're going to shows where you're all on the show together, you know, because when you get to that level of stardom, you're the headliner. You might have a feature and opener, but not always when you're doing, you know, a 20,000 room venue or something, you know. So there's probably some of that kind of loss and some of that connection with the crowd, where you can't connect with everyone in the room when they're, you know, half a mile away from you. And there's just probably pieces that I would imagine that you fall in love with.
The traveling, and you're in a place where you don't know anybody.
Yeah, and that does, you know, I used to travel a lot for work. When I was in sales, I was at a point where I was traveling almost every other week for work. And excuse me, as fun as it was to kind of get out and have nice meals, you kind of get burnt out on it, because you're not going out with the people that you would want to go out with. I mean, I had a great group of people I worked with that we had fun, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm going out with my family or I'm taking my kids on an experience. It's like, well, we're having fun because we're together. And I would hang out with them here. I've hung out with some of them since I don't work there. It's not awful, but it was just like, you know, even like when I was married, it's like, oh, my wife's not with me most of the time. There are only a couple times where she was able to go. And at some point you're just tired of eating in restaurants all the time, no matter how nice the restaurant is. No, or not sleeping in your own bed. So that makes sense. But those are the days we're striving for.
I know.
When we can look back and be like, remember when we were doing Scrutiny from our own homes and we didn't have a studio yet?
I know. Remember, we didn't have hair and makeup to get us ready. We had to do it ourselves.
Didn't even have to put pants on because nobody else was around. Now we don't have to put pants on because we make our employees sign a waiver.
That's a good idea.
Right? Oh, that's funny.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
I am working on some clean jokes, because I'm forcing myself to write a new clean joke every week, and at least a part of a clean joke that I can keep developing. So I've got to come up with what mine is going to be, because Sunday is my deadline for that. So for the last 3 or 4 weeks I've done that, And so we have the open mic at Odd Otter on Sunday nights, which is 95% music. There was another guy who did comedy there last time, and I did some comedy. So I'm using that as my kind of benchmark to, okay, it's a small supportive room. It's an easy place to just try stuff. So it kind of, having that deadline forces me to do that, because I do want to have, my goal is to have an hour of clean material,
Right.
that won't necessarily be in 6 months, but I want to just keep working it so that I'm always working on it.
Good idea.
So, but the dirty stuff is just easier.
When you have a dirty mind, it is.
Yeah. I was watching a comedian the other day. I think it was a Bill Burr episode on Netflix. And I haven't watched a lot of comedy on like the Netflix specials and stuff.
Right.
But there was a line in one of his shows where he made a comment about not doing certain types of, he's like, I don't like to do whatever kind of joke. And he was talking about race comparison jokes because his wife is black, and so it's easy for him to talk about differences in
Hang
black
on, this is weird because you're talking, but your voice is like, your picture is frozen, but I can still hear you talking.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, go ahead.
It's like maybe somebody's miming me, or not. What do you call it? Ventriloquisting, or never mind.
So anyway, he said he didn't want to do,
Oh, but he just said he doesn't. He's like, it's always this kind of thing, and then he's like, they always compare like this. But he called out the idea of what types of jokes, in his opinion, can just be very simple and lazy or too easy. And it's interesting to hear somebody at that level talk about being aware of not, of trying harder and working harder to come up with jokes, their skill to write. So, okay, now it looks like it's moving.
Yeah, you're moving now.
So, but it just made me, because I have tried to think about that. And it's like that post that you shared today about that you had read about just kind of being the best at no matter what it is that you're doing. That means you have to work harder, you have to try harder, and you have to elevate your skill level to the point where you're not taking the easy road, even though other people are and might be getting partway down the road quicker. You're gonna get so much further by not playing that game.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. I thought, God, if we did everything like just at a level like, we're the master at everything that we do. Like, just imagine how much harder I would try at things.
Right.
I wouldn't say that I tried that hard. Like, I try hard, I work hard, but
oh, you do.
But
you are hustling left and right, and you are like the hardest working person I know in comedy. In so many ways, when I look at how many times you're hustling, going to shows, going to things, and not just the shows you're working, but the amount of time that you go supporting other comedians, making sure that you go to as many shows as you can when someone else is on it, or going to shows to watch shows that are around comedy to keep learning. And all of that is, there's so much more than just hustling to open mics to making comedy good. Yeah. And also learning the business of comedy, because you not only do comedy, but you also produce rooms. So there.
I know, I'm so hungry, and it's like, I think we were planning on eating at the club tonight, but my stomach is saying we're eating now. So I don't know.
That's always hard to gauge when there's shows, because a lot of times I do plan to eat food there, but then because I want to support the clubs and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, now I need to either eat a late lunch or a little snack. And
then we end up having 3 dinners, and then,
and then the after show dinner at Denny is just like, just never stops.
I know. I've got to put the kibosh on that kind of stuff. I've told myself that as soon as I got back from Vegas, I was just going to really, I'm not going to go on a diet. I don't believe in that at all, but I just thought I'm going to cut out all this excess carbs and sugar that I've been eating. And then I think yesterday I had 2 candy bars. So I haven't gotten to the grocery store yet. That's my excuse to really get
Well, I did good yesterday. I shared a pizza with a client yesterday because I had a client meeting and it was kind of getting close to dinner time. So I just ordered a medium. It wasn't a large pizza, so that was a reasonable sized dinner, and it was pizza, so it's not the best, but I could have eaten the whole thing by myself. So that was
right.
good. but the 6 beers that followed probably were a lot of carbs. It wasn't like, I mean, it was 6 between 3 o'clock and 2 a.m. I mean, it wasn't like I just got wasted, but but I picked up another client last night, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go out and have a couple drinks, and I ran into friends, and then it just ended up being longer. So it was a fun night, but I've been trying to be okay with selectively just not being like, no, I got to get back and get right back to work all the time, because that's what gets me stressed out and not performing well.
All right.
So.
You know what I think we're going to do is we're going to send out a lot of invites for people to like our Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy page.
Yes.
Because that way, you know, it's like all your people don't need to come to my page, and all my people, you know, don't need to come, you know, they need to come to a place that's our page.
Right.
So,
that's our space. So join us in the future on the Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy page.
Right. We'll get there. And then we're going to start sending people, you know, people can start liking and subscribing. We have a YouTube channel. Now I gotta admit, I have not been 100% perfect about loading everything onto it, but it's a work in progress. So once we get it all caught up and everything's beautiful, like that's where everything's going to go. So the show's just going to keep getting better and better, and growing and growing. And so
it's going to be fun, and we're going to have more games, and we're going to have some exciting additions to the games. It's fun to see it develop. We met before you went to Vegas and figured out, you know, kind of, we're always doing what we can to adjust it, and I'm excited.
All right. It's 4:51. So.
All right. It's been a fun show.
Oh yeah, we were going to come up with a little tagline at the end.
Oh yeah. Be scrutinous in your week. Hello, Seattle.
Yeah, so if you have an idea for a little tagline for us to end the show on, email us at scrutiny with Cheri and Andy at gmail.com. Isn't that a fucking fantastic
That is an
address?
awesome email, because you know exactly where it's going to. It's going to Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy. How come we didn't do with Cheri and with Andy? Because we could have gotten another word in there. Or how about the Scrutiny Show with Cheri and with Andy, which is sometimes on Facebook at gmail.com.
Oh, well, next time we can make a new
and also as a podcast.
That's true.
No, that's exciting. Yeah, send us your ideas. We are looking forward to figuring out a tagline for the end of the show, and we came up with some ideas, but we weren't that excited about them.
Yeah. So
come back next time to hear our twist of Scrutiny or something.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.